Chapter 3. Mom, are you okay? Those people are gone. After leaving Bald, David asked Barbara with concern. Hey, you said you just came out, what did you provoke him to do? Barbara complained to David. Quickly pick up the money on the ground, we have saved it all. David squatted down and collected the scattered banknotes on the ground. Mom, I'll just make money in the future, you and Dad have a good rest, and I'll find a way to make your eyes look good to you. David collected the money and handed the bag to Barbara. You can do it if you have the heart. Barbara said, and even started to cry. You are back now, and Mom is relieved. If I hadn't been thinking about you these past few years, Mom would have died. Looking at his mother, David's eyes began to turn scarlet. Bang! David couldn't bear it any longer, and punched the only table. Wow! The table was smashed to pieces in an instant. Xiao family. Zhang family. I will definitely make you pay the price, definitely. The anger on David's face was raging. Seeing to feel David's anger, Barbara hurriedly said. David, you must not cause trouble, now that you are out, find a job, everything will be fine. Mom, don't worry, I know what to do, I'll go out. David comforted his mother, and then walked out of the house. He was going to go to Delia to ask what was going on. After walking out of the house, David was still full of anger. But just as he was crossing the road, suddenly a red Porsche rushed over from the road, and the speed was very fast, directly knocking David into the air. Bang! David's body fell heavily to the ground. If he hadn't practiced with the old master, it would have killed him. Who can drive without eyes? David was originally angry, but when he went out, he was knocked out, and he was even more angry. How the H3LL do you walk without eyes? Just as David scolded angrily and was about to stand up, there was a sudden scream. Saw a girl getting off the Porsche. The girl was wearing a white dress and walking on a pair of high-heeled shoes. She was very beautiful, but at this time she was looking at David angrily. David frowned, and the body that wanted to stand up lay back again. Who of us doesn't have eyes? It's obviously you who bumped into me. You are a pretty girl, why do you smell like shish? Tea when you talk, David said to the girl without showing weakness. You dare to scold me. The girl glared at David, suddenly raised her foot and kicked him over. The high-heeled shoes the girl wears are like sharp knives. If they hit a body, there will be a blood hole. Sonia, stop. Seeing that the girl was about to kick David, a middle-aged man opened the car door and got out of the back seat. The middle-aged man has an aura of indifference and self-arrogance. At first glance, he looks like a person who has been in a high position for a long time. It's just that the middle-aged man at this time was a little pale, and his breathing was short. After shouting this sentence, he held the car door and gasped continuously. Dad, why did you come down? After the girl saw the middle-aged man, she hurriedly ran over and asked the middle-aged man. Let's go to the hospital quickly, don't waste time. The middle-aged man said to the girl. The girl nodded, walked to David again, took out a wad of money from her bag, and threw it on him. There are 10,000 here, quickly take the money and leave, we are in a hurry. David didn't go to get the money, but stood up and glanced at the middle-aged man not far away and said. You don't have to go to the hospital, it's too late. After David finished speaking, he turned around and was about to leave. He could see that this middle-aged man was already in danger, and he couldn't make it to the hospital at all. Stop. The girl stopped directly in front of David and glared angrily. What do you mean? Tell me clearly, or you don't want to leave. At this time, the middle-aged man also frowned and walked a few steps towards David. Your father suffers from a hidden illness. He was injured in his left lung. Within 5 minutes, he would have difficulty breathing and suffocate to death. Can you be in the hospital in 5 minutes? David calmly followed the girl and asked. You are talking nonsense, my father just has a cold. Sonia, the middle-aged man stopped the girl, and then took 2 steps toward David again, his eyes full of shock. Little brother, how did you see that my left lung is injured? I told you, but you don't understand. I'm in a hurry right now, so I don't have time to waste time with you guys. David said. He was about to turn around and leave. Little brother, cough cough, the middle-aged man called David, then coughed violently, and when it calmed down a little, he immediately stepped forward and pulled David's arm. Little brother, since you can see if I get sick, it will definitely be cured. I hope my little brother can save my life. I am willing to pay any price. This is my business card. The middle-aged man took out a business card and handed it to David. Originally, David didn't want to not care, but when he saw the name on the business card, he immediately took the business card in his hand. Are you Reuben Su, president of the Su Group? Exactly. Reuben nodded. Suddenly, David shot at Reuben, pointing at Reuben's some particular acupoints. David's speed was so fast that neither Reuben nor Sonia could react. Chapter 4. What do you want to do? Sonia hurriedly stepped forward to block Reuben, but David had already stopped at this time. However, after David hit a few acupuncture points, Reuben immediately felt that his breathing was smooth and his face was much more rosy. I only temporarily controlled your injury. It will take some time to heal. Your hidden disease needs to be slowly recuperated because of its age. David said lightly. Thank you, little brother, for your help. Thank you so much. Reuben stepped forward and grabbed David's hand excitedly, thanking him constantly. Sonia was very surprised to see that her father's face was obviously rosy and his body was much better. I shot to save you because I know that you often do good deeds, and you have donated more than a dozen elementary schools. I did it all because of that reason. The reason why David rescued Reuben was because he knew that Reuben was a good man. If he met by chance and had no acquaintance, David would not necessarily rescue him, not to mention that Sonia had just talked badly to him and almost hit him. David is not tch to save anyone. When Reuben heard this, he was a little embarrassed. What kind of good deed I have done is far from good. Little brother saved my life. Just say whatever you want. Now it's noon. I invite little brother to a meal at the Regal Hotel. No, I still have something to deal with. David shook his head and refused, and he still wanted to see Delia to clarify. Seeing David's refusal, Reuben was a little surprised. Must know that as the richest man in Horrendal, there are countless people who want to invite him to dinner, and those who can sit with him for dinner are all powerful people. Now he took the initiative to invite David to dinner, but David refused, which was a bit unexpected. Little brother, say we have to sit and have a meal together to express my gratitude. Reuben held David's arm tightly. David could see that Reuben desperately wanted to invite him to dinner, just wanting to know about the follow-up treatment of his illness. But seeing Reuben is sincere, David nodded and said, well, I'll deal with the matter first. Then I will go to the Regal Hotel to find you. Seeing David say this, Reuben released his hand. Well, it's a deal, just call me. David nodded and left impatiently, rushing towards the Zheng family. Ellipsis. Where's Delia? I want to see her. In front of a slightly old villa, David said to the middle-aged woman in front of him. This middle-aged woman is Delia's mother Ethel Jha. If it was before, David would never have dared to speak to her in such a tone. But now after listening to his mother's remarks, David was very angry and did not act directly. Even if it is good. Ethel was wearing a cheongsam, arrogant, crossed her hands on her chest, and looked at David with disdain. Hurry up and get out of my way. My daughter is getting married today. You are too bad here as a prisoner of labor. Marrying. David frowned. It seemed that what the bald head said was true. Where is Delia? Who is she marrying? Let her come out to meet me and make it clear. David rushed towards the villa with a cold face. Hey, you lunatic, how can you break into other people's yards casually? Ethel pulls David desperately. But where can she compete with David's strength? The whole person was dragged into the yard by David. David was about to rush in with his eyes open. At this time, a girl in a wedding dress walked out with a gloomy face. When he saw the girl, David suddenly stopped. Delia, what's going on? What's going on? Can you explain it to me? David waited for his eyes angrily and questioned Delia. David, let's go, don't come looking for me, I have decided to marry Jordan. Delia looked at David expressionlessly and said. David's eyes narrowed and his fists clenched tightly. Although he already knew it, when Delia said it herself, David's heart twitched fiercely. He was imprisoned by that Jordan, but now his girlfriend is going to marry him. This is so ironic. Suddenly, David laughed bitterly at himself. He felt that he was really too cheap. Is that what you mean? David looked at Delia. There was no anger on his face, and his hands slowly loosened. Yes. Delia nodded. I want to have a rich life, but you can't give it to me at all. And you are still a prisoner of labor reform. Even if you come out, I'm afraid it will be difficult for you to support yourself. What will you support me with? For the sake of our previous relationship, you can take these hundreds of dollars and sleep on the streets of the province. After Delia finished speaking, she took out a few hundred bills from her bag and threw them on David's face. At this moment, David looked at her and gave up completely. The person in front of him was no longer his girlfriend. You will regret this. David turned around and left without taking Delia's money. Huh, you will regret marrying this poor ghost. Ethel spat fiercely in the back. Chapter 5. When David just walked to the door, a convoy of greetings directly blocked the way. A young man in a suit and leather shoes walked down from the float with a bouquet of flowers in his hand. This person was Jordan. Jordan was slightly taken aback when he saw David, but then he laughed out loud. I forgot that you were released from prison today. What a coincidence. Would you like to join me in Delia's wedding? Jordan looked at David playfully, his eyes full of ridicule. David just glanced at Jordan coldly, turned sideways and wanted to leave. He didn't want to talk nonsense with such a person. Don't go. Jordan stopped David again. Do you have no money to follow? It doesn't matter, you don't need to take the money, you can eat the leftovers at that time. We are holding the wedding at the Regal Hotel. If you don't come this time, I'm afraid you won't have the chance to eat there in the future. Jordan smirked at David, and even reached out and patted David's face. David knocked Jordan's hand off with all his strength. Marry a second-hand one, there is nothing to worry about, it's all left by me. David smiled coldly. In fact, David never touched Delia at all, and he didn't even pull his hand. He said this to disgust Jordan, and to rectify that Delia by the way. Jordan was stunned after hearing this, and hurriedly looked at Delia. Delia told him that she never even held hands with David. What's the situation now? Seeing Jordan look over, Delia became anxious and shouted at David. David, what nonsense are you talking about? Who is left by you to play? Just your virtue, I didn't let you go. Touched. Ethel also panicked, and yelled at David, David, don't eat grapes and say grapes are sour. With your virtue, how could my daughter let you touch? Jordan, don't believe his nonsense, he made it clear that he wanted to disgust you. Ethel explained to Jordan that she finally found a golden tortoise-in-law, but she couldn't be disturbed by David's words. Auntie, don't worry, I won't believe it. Jordan is not stupid, and of course he will not trust David's words. Believe it or not, David was too lazy to pay attention to Jordan, so he bypassed him and walked out. Wait a moment. Jordan stopped David. You'd better keep your mouth under control, don't speak ill of my wife everywhere, or I'll make you look good. Jordan was afraid that David would talk nonsense everywhere and ruin the reputation of their Shao family. Hee hee, the mouth is on me, I can say whatever I want. Just say it, you care about me. David looked at Jordan coldly, but you have to pay attention, don't lose your life one day, I don't know what happened. Looking at David's cold eyes, Jordan was in a trance for a moment, and there was a trace of fear in his heart. But just for a moment, Jordan felt that he had been humiliated, his eyes widened and he reprimanded, if you kid is not afraid of death, you can try it, then don't kneel down and beg me. Jordan's face was full of anger. If it wasn't for him getting married today, he would have given David a good look. I don't know who knelt down and begged whom. Let's wait and see. David stared at Jordan. Jordan, the time has come, let's not pay attention to this poor ba-5-tard, stupid X. Ethel gave David a look of contempt. Jordan held the flowers, and the group walked towards the house. David looked at Jordan's back, and suddenly flicked his fingers, and a silver light suddenly entered Jordan's body. Jordan shuddered obviously, but he didn't care and continued to walk into the room. I want to see if you will kneel down and beg me. A sneer appeared on the corner of David's mouth, he turned and left, heading towards the Regal Hotel. The entrance of the Regal Hotel. Reuben personally waited for David at the door, and Reuben's appearance made everyone who entered the Regal Hotel have a lot of discussion. Isn't this the richest man Sue? He is standing at the door of the hotel, as if waiting for someone. I don't know what the other party's background is, and he could make the richest man wait for him. I heard that the eldest son of the Shao family is getting married, and the wedding will be held here. Isn't it someone who is waiting for the Shao family? It's possible, after all, the Shao family is also a wealthy family, so they should give some face. Everyone walked into the Regal Hotel talking, but Ruben was still hovering at the door, looking at his watch from time to time. His face became a little impatient. Dad, I think that kid is talking nonsense. He said that you injured your left lung, and you still have a hidden disease that is life-threatening. It's just nonsense. You just had cold and your lungs are inflamed. Don't wait, let me accompany you to the hospital. Sonia persuaded Ruben. Ruben has been waiting here for half an hour, but before David arrived, Sonia felt that David was talking nonsense. Besides, Ruben never told them that he had injured his left lung, and he had never seen this before, a situation. Sonia, there are some things you don't understand. My injury, even if I get to the hospital, it's not good at all. I have a hidden disease, it's been more than 20 years. The reason why I haven't told you is because I'm afraid you worry about. Ruben sighed and said solemnly. When Sonia heard this, her whole body became a little stupid, and she nervously took Ruben's hand. Dad, what the H3LL is going on? Don't scare me, I've already called Dr. Sun. Call, he came right away. Sonia panicked. Since she can remember, she has never seen her mother. It was Ruben who brought her up and the two depended on each other for life. If Ruben had 3 strengths and 2 weaknesses, Sonia didn't know how to live on her own. It's a long story, but when I have time, Dad is slowly telling you. After Ruben finished speaking, he looked at his watch again, and then looked anxiously into the distance.
Please subscribe to follow the next more exciting chapters.